Welcome to City Dads.
Welcome to City Dads. We have no idea, but here we go. There's a point.
I can't wait to find out. What's the antithesis of Make-A-Wish?
Have you explained to her that if you do get laid off, this is like your backup plan?
Yeah.
I'm going to go all in on this podcast.
That
I'm the only one who listens to
this podcast.
Welcome
It's
to
about
City
soccer, I guess.
Yeah.
And every now and then we do fake trivia.
Is your show, Daddy?
Nah, back off, man.
Yeah.
Welcome to City Dads, a podcast where we pretend the games from St. Louis City matter as an excuse to hang out with the boys and record these jokes. I am the stepdad nobody asked for, Brent Thomas Callahan out of Sandusky, Ohio. On my right, third string All-American out of Fontbonne. We call him our soccer expert, Corey Smith. Corey, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for being here.
And on my left, Ryan Ballard, his 7-year-old, told him 6 months ago he was funny. Now we have to do a podcast as a result. Ryan, good to see you, bud. How are you?
Fart jokes, man. It's key to the heart, you know?
Yeah. We're joining you today from Sneaky's Bar and Grill. As always, Ryan, can you tell them about Sneaky's before we get into this?
Sneaky's Bar and Burger Joint, Edwardsville, Illinois. Smashed Wagyu burgers, tots. Some of the best beer in the town. Come check them out. They're awesome. They're our host, our studio sponsor, and recap sponsor.
Before we get into the show, we need to address something. We're recording episode 4 before episode 3 comes out. For our daddies out there who were excited last Tuesday to see an episode, our apologies on the delay. After City's first win, Corey came in super problematic, like super hot and inappropriate, even by this show's lowered standards, almost unsalvageable, to the point Owen rightfully walked away. We've got Owen number 2 helping us out in the background. Thank you for being here today. We're going to try and do better. Yeah, Corey?
I apologize for nothing.
There are some words you can't say, and you said all of them. So let's just see where we
San
get
Diego
to.
fans tell me that.
To you today. They said it in Spanish, though, so I think it's going to be okay. Let's get to another game recap. Another W, right? Corey, what happened last night?
Another W, another clean sheet. Boys are flying high. So Olaf's fixed it, right? Defense is fixed, obviously. Not an issue. Pretty standard formation that we're going to see. 5 backs, 3 mids, 2 forwards. Akil Watts back in the lineup is great. That midfield is getting really crowded. But yeah, solid defensive effort again. They're organized. They're tactically sound. They're just going to be behind the ball. And I think the game plan is try and score first and then defend for 70 to 80 minutes. So it might be kind of boring season, but win's a win, 3 points. Seattle dominates possession, as most teams are probably going to do against us. Doesn't matter, as long as you get a goal and 3 points and get out of there.
Yeah, it's the recipe seems to be at that 60-minute mark, bringing in, especially with the lead at this point, Morales, yeah. Come in, lock it down, just be a disruptor in the middle, and he does that one thing really, really well. It doesn't seem like coach is interested in seeing Leuven go 90 minutes. That's fine. You know, if you score a goal or set up a goal in 60, that's fine. So those two seem to be penciled in to that split, and that's great. As long as we're playing with the lead, I don't think you're going to see Morales when we're not winning. It's also, Olaf really seems to like Yarrow a lot.
Yeah.
Yarrow's getting so many more looks than he did under Carnell, and I fucking love it. I love Yarrow. I think he played for City 2 for a year, right, before we even had.
I believe Josh Yarrow was one of the very first St. Louis City signings.
Yeah, so it's good to see him coming through and getting good minutes and being solid.
Right.
And but I mean, the thing I think last night was Berkey hurt, and that's scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying. The best goalie in the league, your cornerstone franchise player. All the club said is that he picked up a knock in training Friday, which, if you read between those lines, I can only assume that one of our own teammates kicked him, hit him, hurt him, broken hand. So I don't think the club's released any kind of timeline, but obviously for a goalie, we're talking months.
So we were at the game last night.
Yeah.
And I bought an extra ticket so me and the wife and kid could all go.
but what happened was it's kind of like the U of I situation we had, where my seat was like 8 seats down from them,
Sure. Yeah.
and so tried to like, hey, is there any way
Okay.
can we slide down?
Yeah.
Immediately clusterfuck, just immediately off the rails.
Yeah.
It was a
I
family.
looked over once and was like, "This is how I end
It
up."
was 7 people. It's 3 kids, set of grandparents, parents, and I was like, hey, would you guys mind? And they're like, hey, we don't care. All we care about is that our son gets an opportunity to maybe get a picture with Roman Berkey. And I was pretty high.
Yeah. Sure.
And so my autism came out pretty, and I was like, he's not playing, right? I just said it.
Yeah.
And
Well done.
I just ruined this 8-year-old kid's dream.
Hmm.
Like and you could see their faces just all leave. Just go like, I'm like, your favorite player? He's not even here, you idiot. You fucking idiot.
You should
My
have
wife
just.
goes, Ryan, what are you doing? Why are you talking to those people so much? And you just like, I'm just ruining this kid's day, birthday, life, all of it.
You should have told him his opportunities were going to be pretty high. Roman wasn't doing much yesterday, so
Yeah.
it should be free.
I could have told that kid that his parents were getting divorced, and he would have took
Yeah.
that news better.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it was a rough look. I was like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But so I was talking to his dad, Eric Lundstrom, afterwards. I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I tried to ruin your kid's birthday. I go, this is what we'll do. Eric Lundstrom actually has an insurance group he runs.
Nice.
Kohler Insurance Group.
Yeah.
But there's signs, there's pictures. Eric's going to post them on his Facebook and hopefully tag us. And then we're going to try and get Berkey to reach out.
Okay.
So like, 'cause
Yeah.
I feel so bad.
Yeah.
It was just like the worst.
We're gonna have Berkey clean up your mess.
Yeah. It's kind of what you guys do. Maybe
Yeah, that's right.
But so we'll try and clip this out and see if we can get
Okay.
Berkey to respond to Eric Lundstrom's kid, because it was rough. I mean,
Yeah.
like I literally, they were so excited. It was a big night. They clearly planned all around this. And 30 seconds into their evening, I was like, "You guys are dumb."
Yeah. I looked over at warm-ups and the kid was just staring at the corner flag, one solitary single tear running down his eye. Yeah, face paint was all smudged and smeared. He'd
How-
obviously been crying.
How old is this kid? 7.
8.
Turning
It was
8.
eighth
Eighth
birthday.
birthday.
8th birthday.
How far from the field were you? Could you have told him that was Roman Berkey still out there? Could you have lied to him and just been like, no, that's
No.
okay.
I mean, I could have not said anything. I could have chose that in
would
that
have been
moment.
helpful. Yeah.
But I was real stoned, and I
Okay.
was just like, "Yeah, Berkey doesn't play now."
Okay.
No, It's
He
not
also
good.
can't sign anything because his hand's
Yeah,
broken.
his hand's broken.
It's just really...
Also, your dog, not on a farm.
Yes, exactly.
So here's an idea, soft pitch. We start some kind of fund where we can do that. You can pay us to go be dicks to kids with cancer.
Some dirty work.
Is that right? Okay.
But specifically
But
targeted
specifically kids with cancer. I
to
guess.
children struck down with tragedy.
Like there has to be some counterbalance to the Make-A-Wish.
What's the antithesis of Make-A-Wish? Crush a dream?
I think having cancer, probably. So maybe as I'm talking out loud, I'm now realizing that there already is
Yeah.
a bit of a transaction.
God's already doing a pretty good job.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's scrap that one.
You said earlier it was going to be boring. It wasn't, though. Like, we scored relatively early. We still went on the attack a good number of times. Like, yeah, played a lot of defense. If you saw the heat map, I guess is what it is. Like, spent a lot of time, but it wasn't without us turning the ball around and getting some shots on goal. Like, I woke up this morning and finished the game because I missed the last 30 minutes of it because I'm very old. But went back and watched, and because I pulled it up on Apple TV. You want to sponsor this, Apple? Just pulled it up, and it showed me the score already. So I knew the end.
Mhm.
While I was watching, I was still hopeful that we were going to score. I was still hopeful for that second goal, even though I knew. So we got down there. It wasn't just playing defense for 60 minutes.
No, I think honestly, I'm trying to remember. I mean, possession was crazy, but Seattle almost had 70% possession. I think by the end of the game is nuts. But they didn't have any real build up to speak of. That was
Okay.
them kicking the ball from one side to the other.
Yeah.
One side to the back. Yeah, I think we had more chances, even with the lack of possession, even being up and playing in a defensive show. Still, that's what they're going to do, though. They're going to wait. They're going to absorb that, and then they're going to try and break on a counter.
Can I ask you a legitimate soccer question? Into the game, I super confused. Can you explain the handball situation, the non-handball situation? Because it looked like he touched it with his hands, and you all repeatedly tell me not allowed to touch it with your hands.
So
how was
kind of
that?
the one rule?
How did that work out?
So at the end, the PK.
Yeah,
I'm in the stadium because I'm a real fan. So we don't get to hear everything else going on in the
Okay.
broadcast, right? But from what I can tell,
I don't know. Is that your answer?
I don't know, but I'm
Okay.
still going to explain it as though I do.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's what I do for a living.
Welcome to City Dads.
Welcome to City Dads. We have no idea, but here we go. It might have been a foul. It probably was a foul.
Okay.
It probably could have been a penalty kick, but because that ball bounces up and hits the Seattle player in the hand while he's in possession as an offensive player, as soon as it touches your hand, it's a dead ball. If the handball when you're playing offense is like to extend or create a goal scoring opportunity, it doesn't matter if it's intentional. It doesn't matter if your hand was in an unnatural position. All the things that normally come into play, ball hit your hand, dead.
Okay.
So it hit his hand, and then he was fouled. So handball, dead play. It doesn't matter if you got fouled in the box after that.
Got it. Okay.
I think that's how that went.
That's how it ended up as a turnover then.
Correct.
I got two topics from last night's game that I want to address. Number one is the half collar kit. I don't understand it at all. We're going to talk about that. Number two, the situation for the guy that you had in front of you at the game last night, the dress code situation.
Which one was worse?
Describe for our daddies out there.
I want to make this clear. I was seated like 8 seats away from this. So I was getting the information as you were via text message.
Okay, same time.
Just going
Same
like,
time, yeah.
This dude in front of us. I'm like, oh, I'm so interested in this.
We've for our longtime listeners, this is not guy who sits in front of us.
Yeah.
Who sits in front of us.
Not fashionable.
Dapper.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got friends or he's sold this. I don't really know. I didn't talk to these gentlemen in front of us last night, but I wasn't into their vibe. But the real tragedy here is the outfit was the Bill Belichick style hoodie with no sleeves.
Mm.
And it's, I don't know, pretty damn cold last night. You could have worn sleeves. Jersey pulled over it.
Sure.
It's just awful. Atrocious.
Yeah. Was it Bill Belichick? Because that would have been
It didn't look like
side
Bill Belichick, but I know he's had some work done here recently.
What I heard was they were also pissing the people next to them off as well.
Yeah, he was demonstrative to a point that was unnecessary. You know, like 60 seconds into the game, like screaming, fuck off, ref. And
it was his behavior and not lack of sleeves that offended those people.
I think I don't know. I can't. For me, it was the outfit.
Sure.
100% that outfit.
I like that fashion advice. This is going to be a part of this show now from Corey.
Right.
But you guys couldn't see because you were at the games. You mentioned you're a real fan, I guess. The kits yesterday. Have you never noticed? Or this is the first time?
They change the kits every year. So like and every other year is a switch. So like last year they got a new away kit.
Yeah.
This year there's a new home kit.
Was it a funding issue? Is that why they couldn't afford a full collar? I just don't understand why you just have the lapel collar.
Can you pull it up? Because I think you're crazy.
I can. We're gonna need to
pull it up, and I'll rant. Anyway.
Give me a second to go. Hold on.
This is gonna be good. Just he walks off the show.
I quit. Do we keep talking, or what's the?
I don't think it matters. Yeah.
Oh, you think? Bet not. Bet.
I gotta get
Bet. I don't really know if it's a half collar or not. I'm not sure such a thing exists. So you think that like there's lapel, and then it just gets sewn in back here and disappears?
I don't think a goddamn
they just
thing.
Have like two triangles.
I'm telling you, yes,
to the front.
That's exactly what it is. It looks like they might sail away at any moment.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Let's assume it's an actual collar, Brent. Either way, it's horrible. It's terrible. It's awful. It's the I'd say like the short like
you're basically like you're saying there's like a mock turtleneck, but for like a collar.
Like if a polo collar had a mock turtleneck equivalent.
This show is really getting heavy into fashion. I'm not against it. I'm happy about it. Clearly,
you've got a lot to say on this.
A lot to say about
All
it.
right.
I wear the same pair of blue jeans every day, and honestly, they're too tight. But it feels nice. Speaking of that, like fashion and that, do you know kids just only wear sweatpants now? Like that is.
I do. Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, it's crazy. They don't wear anything but sweatpants, which I understand. I get it.
I don't wear anything other than sweatpants. Just today is the first day that I've worn something without an elastic band in months.
I'm jealous of it, I guess. I don't know. There's parts.
I don't know why you would be. You don't have to. You control your budget and can buy sweatpants.
Yeah, but I have to go out and like work in the real world, and I can't just show up in Cookie Monster pajamas.
That sounds terrible.
You probably could.
I probably could.
This segment's called
people would still give you money.
Brent Googles things.
Yeah, probably. I
It's a
mean,
full collar, you crazy.
This is not a full collar. Look, it ends at their shoulder. It does not wrap all the way around. It doesn't reach around. It doesn't. You need to.
I don't
reach around.
You need to reach around in this situation.
I feel like I'm gonna need to see a full 360 of it.
You guys are gonna feel so dumb.
You're gonna have to edit this into the podcast as well. You have to make sure the.
There you go. No collar on this guy. Imagine there's no collar there.
And then
I'm telling you, when they're running around the field, you got two little triangles flapping by their ears, like eager beagles running through a park.
Yeah.
Nothing happening in the back.
Look,
It's you know what? It's an anti-mullet.
where tariffs
for
are.
colors.
Have you got like the materials are bringing in?
Oh,
You know, you got to save where you can,
I think it's a
right? And you
financial
want to see that
decision.
product on the. You want that money on the field,
Sure.
not on the collar,
okay.
right? Like it's.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our recap brought to you by Homes by Janelle. Ryan, tell them about Homes by Janelle.
Yeah, Homes by Janelle, specifically Christina Schmidtling with Homes by Janelle. Check her out. She's my real estate agent. She should be yours as well. She works so hard. She's great. She makes sure her clients have everything in order. Everything's ready by the time you're ready to close. Check her out. Christina Schmidtling, Homes by Janelle. It's on the Facebook.
And now for something completely different.
Let's get into trivia. This is probably the last edition of trivia that we're gonna do. First episode got good
trivia.
feedback. Needed to be more real. Last episode, a little bit of criticism about too wordy. So we're gonna shorten it up. We're gonna try and make this more fair. I'm gonna try and get things that I feel like both of you can answer because you really struggled last week.
Yeah.
In the interest of fairness, we're gonna flip a coin to determine who starts first. Do you want to flip that for me? Just flip that coin. Yep. All right, Ryan, you're gonna go first. Ryan, Energizer Park was originally called City Park. Got renamed to Energizer Park January of this year. Ryan, what's the name of this podcast?
That's why you're not supposed to take a drink.
What's the name, Ryan? If Energizer Park is the place that they play, that's what it's called. What's the name of this podcast?
I believe it's City Dads.
There you go. That's 4 in a
Wait,
row.
was I supposed to ask in the form of a question? I forget.
He named it.
Yeah. That's 4. That's a point. So you're starting from behind, Corey.
This is terrifying.
No, you're gonna get these. I feel like you know these.
All right.
Okay, sticking with names. Corey, what was the name of your first pet and your mother's maiden name? Please say it slowly so that I can get this down. Your first pet and mother's maiden name.
First pet ever, or first pet that I've used?
Whatever you would use, whatever
Right.
first comes to mind.
Not sure if it's capitalized,
Is
but
that-
I want to say I would normally probably capitalize it if I'm just happy to be writing.
You
his
feel
name.
like the guy that would also spell it.
It was. Right.
Okay, and your
Instead.
mother's maiden
Mother's
name.
maiden name was.
We're gonna fact check that later. Not confident that's gonna be right. I'll tell you after I try to log in.
I think it's U.S. Bank.
Going back to Ryan, allegedly tied. City Place, as we mentioned, in Energizer Park. That park holds 22,423 people. Regularly sold out again last night. It's one of the reasons it's such a great atmosphere.
Great atmosphere.
It's tremendous. 22,423 people at Energizer Park. Ryan, how many people are on this show? How many people, Ryan, are on this show?
Are we counting New Owen?
Sure, we'll go with New Owen as well, part of the show. Happy to have New Owen.
So I'm going to go 4 today.
4 is correct.
Yeah.
That's good. 4 in a row, 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Very
Nailing
proud of you.
it.
Yeah, you kids are going to be very proud. Sticking again with this theme of numbers, Corey, coming back to you. City has now scored 4 goals, right, in their last 2 games?
2 games.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Corey, what are the last 4 digits of your social security number? 4 goals, last 4. And again, if you could speak directly into the microphone. Last 4 of your social security number.
This is starting to feel. Remember when
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to answer honestly because he's not cutting any of this.
Last question. In 4 games, City has 2 draws and 2 wins here on the podcast. We're after wins. Ryan, spell win.
WIN.
I think that was for the win. I think you might have taken it there because this is going to be a tough one.
Short bus for the win.
For you, we're going to stick with spelling. Corey, spell Brahmapukarna. Broma Picana.
Brona Picana. Can you use it in a
Broma?
sentence?
You still can't spell.
BROOONA.
Yeah. Broma?
Picana. Common spelling.
Poicarna.
Poicarna.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't listening when you told me the second part.
Obviously, it's BROMMAPOJKARNA. You got maybe 2 of those letters correct.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But
I should get something for that.
But we'll use your retirement funds as a celebration for Ryan, who has won yet another episode of trivia.
So I appreciate the short bus questions for me.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay, so this is, we can just jump into daddy issues a bit here.
Okay. Well, can we get, trivia sponsored though?
Oh
by
yeah,
our
Fathead
friends at
Barbecue
Fathead.
Sauce. Fathead Barbecue Sauce out of Bethalto, Illinois. Check them out. They are awesome, independent owned and operated. 2 of the best people, Terry and Linda Payton. They're fantastic people. Love them so much. Please go online, fatheadbarbecuesauce.com. Use promo code DADDY, get 10% off an online order. Get it shipped right to your house. It's great. They're great people. The sauce is awesome. Check them out. And yeah, so daddy issues.
Yeah.
You know, like how parenting a lot of times is just you're like kind of always comparing who had better parents, you or your spouse. Like the way they parent, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
right. Like, and for me, it's always my wife. My wife's parents are like, she had the better childhood. It's not even close. My parents aren't bad parents. I'm not saying that, but like, it's just one of those things. It happened. Like, I remember when he was really young, we would, he was like in 1st grade and he was doing homework for the first time. And my wife would sit with him and help him do his homework. And I was always like, just let him do it. Like, that's his homework. You let him do that.
Yeah.
And as you finally, after like the 5th time, it was like, hey, idiot, he's 6. He doesn't know how to do homework.
Sure.
I was like, oh. I was like, oh, you got to be taught how to do homework? She goes, yeah. I go, oh.
None of this story is surprising to me at all so far.
Okay. Yeah. So I just was shocked. I was like, do you think there was a chance I could have been good at school? She's like, probably not. But
No chance.
but you still should have been taught how to do homework.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So now he's in 6th grade, and now he's like doing like a bigger, like he had like a big diorama project going on, and they've been working on it for like the last 6 weeks. And by his project, my wife's project. My wife did the whole.
Obviously.
What's the diorama?
It was about a book. I don't know.
Okay. You obviously take a real powerful interest in your child's life.
It was about a book where there are pyramids on fire. So he built a pyramid, and there's flames. It's pretty cool. Great job.
He did a book on the new Napoleon reboot movie.
Doesn't sound like those pyramids were up to code. Inspector out there. How do pyramids catch fire? They're pyramids.
They shot a cannon into them. I don't know if you guys.
I don't know. Besides the point.
Okay.
There's a point.
I can't wait to find out.
It was the first time that I realized, like, when I showed up for like science fair and I had like just pencil on a,
Oh yeah.
It's the first time I was like, oh shit, these kids who did really well at the science fair, their fucking parents did it.
Yeah, their parents did well.
Yeah, we all felt bad for you, kid who drew with pencil directly onto the poster board.
That's all I had.
Oh man, not even a construction piece of paper to be seen. There's.
Well, here's the thing: when you're real dumb, you still get a B. The teacher's like,
they're
like, he tried. It's like, look at that. He got something on the table. That's great. Good for him.
They knew.
I was pissed. I'm so pissed. And they're like, he gets to go in. He's like, look at this thing. I was like, your mom did that shit. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I got really fortunate. My kids did all of their own homework. Really, we didn't help a tremendous. To be honest, I didn't do my own I didn't do any homework. No, my parents didn't do my homework. I didn't do my homework. It was not really a requirement. Yeah, and so I certainly wasn't going to do my kids' homework. I'm not going to start now. I'm a grown man.
But did your spouse help at all?
I don't think so. They were really for what I think maybe they had good teachers. I don't know.
It's been bothering me all week.
Do you hope?
It's been bothering me for about 6 weeks.
I know my kids are smart. I'm sorry. Genetics.
Maybe that's the common.
Whoa, easy. My kid is smarter than me, which isn't a high bar.
Yeah.
But it's still.
We know. It's not his fault. He got half of your brain.
Yeah.
And he's still killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's impressive. We're all.
I just think it's wild that this is allowed. That everybody knows. Like it took me to 38.
That's really what the science fair is. It's look how much more my parents love me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a prime example of your inability to do schoolwork well. I've got a submission for how terrible of a student I was.
So I remember vividly science fair, 6th grade. They're like, 2 days before it's due,
Yeah.
going to my parents and being like, "Hey,
Yeah.
they're supposed to be doing these experiments."
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like, "What's your experiment supposed to be?" I'm like, on glue. I
Sure.
made that up.
Yeah.
Right. So I bought the Homer's glue.
On glue. I'm definitely not huffing
I'm
it.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing
So I bought like Elmer's and like off-brand glue,
more caustic the better.
and then I didn't open them. I
Just jars of glue.
and then I just made up statistics.
Yeah.
statistics.
Okay.
And just was like,
Yes.
this glue held
Yes.
for 32 seconds
Right,
or
yes.
whatever.
Elmer's is stickier.
Yeah. And they came through. I remember vividly at the science fair, we're like, "Oh, so you guys did all these assignments?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "Those glue bottles aren't open." I go, "Uh-huh."
Well, you don't want to.
They still
show.
they still have a seal on them. I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, no, these are just show glue bottles."
Yeah.
I totally use different glue bottles.
I use so much.
They were empty.
Yeah.
You got to bring new ones
Yeah.
for the show. I've got 2 examples that are or stories that I'll share. The first is my own inability to care. Some English class, we had to do a book report, and again, diorama. Right? You have to do a diorama. So that's 2 different activities I'm gonna have to pay attention to and stay engaged with. I got to read the book. That's number 1, and then I got to do some visual representation of the book. Much like your story, like the day before, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do that. So I just got a shoebox and like looked around my house and found. You remember those little like MLB figurines? I don't remember what they're called now, but
Bobbleheads.
they weren't bobbleheads. They were just like tiny little statues.
Dolls?
Yeah, we'll call them dolls. I just grabbed one, like stuck it in a glue box, built a baseball field around it, and then just made up a story about someone who wanted to be a professional baseball player. Got an A. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Much like this show, how much effort we put into it doesn't matter. We're gonna get an A.
Here's the thing. Do you think teachers really want to go through?
No,
Yeah.
I was a teacher. I know exactly what that was like.
Yeah, you're just like,
Look, I got kids that I like. Those are going to get A's. We're going to give them a 97, not 100, because that's going to look suspicious.
Yeah.
Right.
The kids that you really hate, you're going to give them a D because you don't want to give them an F. They're going to come back and give them an F. That's all predetermined. There's no reason to put any of your children. Listen to me. If any of your children are listening, first of all, stop listening. You should not be listening to this show. But if you are still listening, none of it matters. None of it matters. There is no permanent record. How did you do? You strike me as someone who did well in school.
Yeah, I did.
Like, was that an effort thing, or were you just?
No,
yeah.
I'm not smart. I just have the amazing recall,
Okay.
and I'm really good at standardized tests.
Yeah.
I don't know how to monetize that
No,
legally.
That
I don't know
matters,
how to monetize it.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it might be all that matters.
It's fun talk. I feel bad for your kids.
yeah. Most people do.
We want to do the look ahead before we get out of here. Speaking of looking, though, last week we unveiled the Looks Like game, right? In a segment I'm going to continue to call, if you want to listen to a good podcast, go listen to Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gotts. It's a better show. Stop listening to this one. Go listen to all 14 years of that. And welcome back. I do like the idea of running this for the head coach, the opposing team. Freddie Juarez yesterday took the helm, the substitute position. I grabbed a couple looks like for Freddie. So my first, we're going to say Freddie Juarez looks like the Postmaster General.
Okay.
I
I can imagine them in that position. You can't?
don't.
That
No, I'm just saying you can do better.
That
But
says
okay.
more about you than about him.
Okay.
Postmaster General. Looks like a disgruntled driving instructor.
Yeah. See a little bit.
Last one I actually feel best about. Freddie Juarez looks like he wants that can of Skull on the left. No, your other left.
The green one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Long cut.
that's what I think he looks most like. Hey, Corey, let's talk about next week's game. Corey, let's do a little look ahead. What's happening?
I have no idea.
Do we need to Google who
I
they're
have
playing?
no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're going to play Saturday at 6:30 against Philadelphia.
Oh.
Carnell.
Hold on.
boys.
Save that enthusiasm.
Oh.
Hey, Corey, let's talk about next week's game. Let's do a little look ahead. What's
yeah,
happening?
I think they're playing Philadelphia.
Thanks.
weekend.
They are they?
Carnell
Carnell?
revenge game. Carnell revenge game.
They're a very good team.
Yeah.
They were up near the top of that conference. So
I'm going to keep nodding and saying, yeah, and sure. Which
Bradley
is
Carnell used to be our head coach.
my role.
He was
Very first
dismissed.
ever. Speaking of that, so
Yeah, I was done with my thought.
I have a friend who's related to a player on the team on City, and he said it's interesting how the team has changed and responded with a new person in the room
Really?
in a very positive way of like maybe Carnell didn't have a locker room at all. And like maybe that's why it was like his dismissal just came so quickly and there's like, well, we're just gonna kill this now. Is that
I don't want to say that's obvious, right? But think about all the shit that went down with Big Sam.
right?
The guy was just scoring goals. You know, he gets the transfer offer. We don't sell him, and then it just falls apart.
Yeah.
Players not wanting to come play for St. Louis. There was some talk about how people didn't want to come play in that system for Carnell. Yeah, there was issues there, but it always you see a guy leave and go to another.
I think it's not to disparage Carnell. It's more of the fact of like I think the players fucking love Olaf is what it sounds like from what my friend said. It's just
People
one of
love
those-
winning.
Yes, they
I
love
don't-
winning, but I think but before this he is like it just the attitude. He says the culture is just completely night and day different this year from previous years, which I thought was great. That's awesome to hear. Especially, I mean, I think it's just one of those things where you get that hot of a guy in a room.
I was gonna say I gotta imagine nothing he's saying is actually sticking.
I like the idea and the look ahead of you guys coming up with, I don't know, 2 or 3 real people and then throwing in just a fake name. Trying to see if I can identify the fake name. I can't.
2 truths and a lie.
There you go.
That'd be good. We can just
People, yeah, we'll all have things to look for.
so.
Excellent job with the look ahead. That's brought to us by Homes by Janelle.
Yeah, Homes by Janelle, specifically Christina Schmitling with Homes by Janelle. Check her out. She's my real estate agent. She should be yours as well. She works so hard. She's great. She makes sure her clients have everything in order. Everything's ready by the time you're ready to close. Check her out. Christina Schmitling, Homes by Janelle. It's on the Facebook.
That's City Dads, folks. Joined by Corey Smith, who allegedly knows soccer. Ryan Ballard, who pretends to be someone's dad. I'm Brent Callahan. Thank you guys for tuning in. Boys, appreciate you.
Cool. Love you
Try
guys.
and do better next time.
Yep.
Cheers.
Nah, back off, man.
My phone's over there.
You know
We're just
how we found out about the Roman Berkey news that happened on Friday?
Was
Okay.
it
We were outside the stadium looking at the lineup,
Yeah.
nice?
going, "Wait a minute."
So we are official City journalists.
Right.
We broke that
Yeah.
news.
Obviously. Do you think Freddie Juarez will come down and do the mile run?
Caseyville Mile.
Because I think I might beat him.
He might be. He was just standing in yesterday, so next week he might not be so busy.
You made a good point. We talked about Caseyville Mile last week, and we didn't have any way to donate money.
Yep.
I almost feel like maybe we did it wrong. Maybe if we do the Caseyville Mile, it's like come do it with us. Bring $5 and 4
Mm.
beers and 4 tall boys.
Yeah. Okay.
I love producing the show in the middle of it. Maybe there's a conversation we could have beforehand. And then
Sure. Whatever. We're not doing real things here. No, I
That umbrella policies. We gotta.
I do like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, let's go run the mile, film it.
Freddie Juarez kind of looks like a guy who might be able to get us an umbrella policy.
that's true.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.